So last time I think I left off on him regaining his memories. So yeah, he looked at Bakugo and instantly remembered his past. And then he says, "Long time no see, Bakugo." And then he walks to his seat and sits down, and they go. Then the Mr. Aizawa said what he said normally. I haven't watched this in a while, so yeah. He said what he says normally, and then they go and get ready to do the ball throwing test. Deku, he throws it further than Bakugo did in canon, and he then does the 50-meter run, and he gets around his normal thing amount of seconds or whatever, but this time he's actually a bit faster because he trained. I think did I say that? I'm pretty sure he trained. If I didn't say that, sorry, but yeah, I'm pretty sure he trained like everything. So he trained his like stats up. Anyways, so not stats, but like skills. Yeah, skills up. And now he is quite fast, but I'd say he gets around Bakugo's like speed. Maybe a bit slower, like 5. Yeah. So now on to the standing long jump. So he is he like runs up to the sandbox, right? And then jumps, and while he's in the air, time just like slows down, and he gets like sent into his quirk, or like quirk mind space. Anyways, so while he's in his quirk or whatever, I'm gonna call it mind space. Anyways, while he's in his mindscape, his quirk is evolving. Alright, he falls face first onto the sand in his mindscape, obviously. Because like yeah, I don't know. Anyways, he simply his quirk is evolving, right? And so as he's in his mind space, he takes a look around and sees he sees his ancestors, right? So they tell him that he is special. He so and so he and he Deku is just like, what do you mean I'm special? Well, and they're like, well, you see, you unlocked your great 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 grandfather's quirk adaptation, and seeing as how quirks evolve every time they they I guess quirks evolve as time as generations go by, and your great 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 grandfather, I'm just gonna call him Zach. Sure. Anyways, so Zach is like a really old person, I guess. I don't know. And he just is like related to no, he is his generation was the first quirk users, right? And so as his generation went by, his quirk, which was the adaptation quirk, his quirk kind of devolved, and how do I say this? His after his while his the next generation, his kids, they had a worse quirk than Zach. He and he's like, okay, whatever. And then later on in the family generation or whatever, it just his quirk suddenly activated in you, and that's what's so special about you. You see, because it's really rare for someone's great 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 grandfather's quirk, like their quirk to just suddenly awake in you after 5 generations. And so that's why you're special, right? And so they told him this because obviously they were talking, and I don't know why I said that they told him this when I already told you guys, but whatever. Anyways, so yeah, and he's like, wait, is how rare is it? And they're like, it's kind of really rare, like a 1 in 1 billion% chance of it, or something like that. And he's like, wow. So how does this make me special? And then they're like, well, it kind of evolved his quirk as well, because quirks evolve every generation, right? And you're the second generation of his quirk, because his kids got Zach's wife's and wife's family's quirks, right? And you suddenly after a while got Zach's quirk, but evolved. It's evolved after 5 generations. So that is how you're special, because Zach adapted kind of slowly, and you adapt instantaneously. The moment, say you're poisoned, right? The moment you taste that poison, you suddenly become more and more immune to it, right? And so you should grow your immune system. And he's like, okay. So, yeah. And, yeah, so after this, he suddenly, like, gets out of his mindscape and is in the middle of the air, and he's like, oh shit. Then, like, he starts, like, kind of like falling, but he goes into, like, a ball or whatever, and he just, how do I say this? He rolls, like, outside of the sand, and so he gets, like, he clears it. Anyways, so I'm not gonna do any more of the tests, because, yeah. After that, he's, he's, kind of, like, let's say he got third place in that, and, so, Mineta, because everyone hates him, and I hate him too, he's getting expelled. Goodbye, Mineta. Hope you have the worst time of your life. Anyways, Mineta gets expelled, right? And then, like, later on that day, they go home, and Deku doesn't really, have a home, and so he just, he remembers the way, to his house from, actually, no, he follows, like, Bakugo without him knowing, because, he was a thief, and, yeah, so, he remembers the way home from, like, Bakugo's house, or, like, yeah, and so, like, he decides he would go home, and, I don't know, probably, like, yell at his parents or something for abandoning him or something, I don't know, or, like, see if he can get, like, there, I don't know, have a place to stay, and he when he gets there, he knocks on the door, right? And, Inko is just like, who is it? And, she opens the door to see Deku. And he's like, it's me. And she's like, I'm sorry, am I supposed to know you? Well, duh, I'm your son, Deku replied. And then Inko just looks in shock, like, wait, what? And he's like, yeah, I'm your son. And then she's just like, I thought we left you in. Never mind. She's just like, well, what are you doing here? And Deku responds with, I don't know. He responds with, I came to say thank you, because here's the thing. Without Inko and his father abandoning him, right, he would have not had his quirk and not had time to, like, develop as a character. He wouldn't have become a thief. He wouldn't have met his father figure. Nothing. Like, his whole life would be, like, normal Izuku. Until, like, he goes under the bridge or something. But, like, with Inko abandoning him, he's, like, way stronger, way, like, I don't know, has more of a personality, I guess. Not really, but like, because Deku has really cool personality, and I like him, but this Deku, he is, well, um, he's more developed, I guess. He's way less shy, I don't know. But anyways, so he's like, Inko was just like, what do you mean, thank you? And Deku was just like, well, with you abandoning me, because you did that when I was 4, or when I was like, when I was like 4, he's like, when you abandoned me, I lost my memory. And, I journeyed for days, training, and I, like, when you dropped me, I, like, hit my head on a tree and lost my memory. And then when I came to, there was a wolf, and so my 4-year-old head was like, what do I do? And so he had to fight it. So then I journeyed for days, fighting more animals and training, and it seemed like I had developed a quirk. An adaptation quirk. And then I met my father figure, and he trained me. And then later on, I ended up meeting All Might and going to UA. So I thank you for that. For not being in my life, I thank you. Sincerely. Anyways, so after this, she's like, well, damn. I guess you've really developed. Would you like to come in? I don't know why they're having such a good relationship right now, but, yeah. Would you like to come in? We can chat. And Deku's like, sure, why not? And in his mind, he's like, even though you did abandon me, but, like, as I said, he thanked her for that because, yeah, I don't want to go back into it because I probably would have ended up accidentally going back into it. Anyways, so he goes in, chats with his mother a bit, and, just hangs out. And in that time, he, met his father as well. He was, like, so when he first saw him, he was like, who's this, darling? And Inko responded with, this is Deku. Well, this is Izuku. And then Hisashi is just like, what? And then Inko responds with, it's Deku. Well, it's Izuku. And so he's like, I thought we abandoned him. But yeah. Because let's just say he is the reason that Inko abandoned Deku. let's just say. Anyways, yeah. And so, like, Hisashi is just like, get out now. And yeah, he's rude. Deku is just like, why should I? This is my home. And Hisashi answers, or responds with, no, it's not. Now get out. And Izuku, he appears behind him and says, why don't you? With a knife. Because for some reason he has a random knife on him because he used to be a thief and like he needed a knife for like protection or whatever. Anyway, so he had a knife and he pulled it on Hisashi's neck and says, why don't you? In a cold voice. And Hisashi is like scared at this point. And Inko just gets up and says, yeah, why don't you get out of my life, Hisashi? Go. Now. Because at this point, she kind of hates him. And they were, like, their relationship was falling, I guess. Let's just forget that I said, darling. Let's just say their relationship was, like, falling down into a gutter or whatever. And, yeah. And at this point, the gutter breaks, I guess. I don't know. And he ends up leaving, right? And so Inko was like, thank you. Without you, I wouldn't have had the courage to break up with him. So, thank you. And Deku's like, no problem. You're my mother, after all. And they share some tea, have a great time, have a good laugh. Everything goes fine. And Inko then invites him to stay there for the night in his old room or whatever. And he's like, oh yeah, sure, I didn't have anywhere to stay anyway, so oh, well then you can stay here. And so yeah, that happens. I'm not gonna let him go to I could let him go to the dorms, but if he does go to the dorms, he wouldn't be able to like chat with his mother and get to know her more. And so he's not gonna go to the dorms. Anyways, whatever. So after that, he was like, I'm gonna go to the backyard and train or whatever. And yeah, so at that point, he starts to poison himself. Like, because he had randomly had poison in order, I don't know, to like poison his daggers or something. Because, yeah. Anyways, he had poison on him, so he poisoned himself. And he got, like, poison resistance. And, yeah. He, trains this way for a few hours until he gains, like... Because, like, the first time he poisoned himself, it was, like... It, like, hit him. It affected him. and he probably could have died. But then the second time, he was like nearly perfectly fine. Like, so he was like just felt like sore in the throat, I guess. And he then went to, I don't know, train in other ways too. He wanted to get his like speed. He wanted to be faster in order to save people faster. And so he just like ran around some trees. And then he's like, let's train some combat. Right? So he goes up to a tree. The dagger isn't that strong. So, and the tree is like really strong for, I don't know, anime logic. Or, yeah. And the tree is really strong. So, Deku goes up to it, goes around it, slashes at a few branches while he's like turning around it, and continues this for, let's say, an hour. And in that time, he got really good at, like, he got really strong, like, really fast. Like every minute, he got faster and faster and faster and faster. Every minute of doing that, he got faster. And so, he, yeah. But since he was also slashing the tree, he was, becoming stronger, and the slashes were becoming slightly more evident. Because, like, yeah, but it's a strong tree, so it won't, like, break. It will never break, ever, for plot, because maybe I'll use it ever, like, again. But, maybe not. I don't know. But the tree, perfectly fine. And, yeah. So, then it just starts to rain. And let's say it's storming out right now, and he's like, well, why not get adapted to this? Because I don't think it rained anyways when he was like a kid, and he's not adapted to that yet. He just like, so when he was training with his like father figure, he only trained like in stealth skills and like thievery, nothing else. So he's really stealthy, really sneaky. He could like go into someone's house without them knowing, while they're like constantly wandering around their house, steal things without them knowing, and then leave without them knowing until later that day. Because he would steal things that were in places that no one would really check that much, but he made sure that they were like at least somewhat expensive. But he could do that. But he didn't, because he's a hero and not a villain. But I could make him a villain. Nah. Maybe, actually. He could become the UA trader. I got so much ideas now. Alright, well, maybe. I don't know. Anyways, so, where was I? Let me think. Oh, right. It was storming, and he gets struck by lightning. Because he was, like, around one of the trees, and, or whatever. No, he had, his dagger. His dagger was made out of metal, and lightning just went boom. He could have died. And then he got knocked back into the fence, I guess. Yeah, let's say the fence, and hit the fence, broke it, and then smashed into a tree on the other side of the fence. Broke the tree too, but like stopped him completely. Then let's say the tree fell onto his head, and bam, just like that, he's knocked out. He also gains a resistance to getting knocked out. Or, yeah. So, then, there was probably much easier ways to get lightning adaptation, like someone using their quirk on him, but, yeah. So, now, he wants to burn himself alive. Later, actually. Yeah, he'll burn himself alive later. But right now, let's say he does not. Anyways, the next day, so Inko came and found him, right? And was like, sweetie, are you okay? And Deku didn't respond because he was knocked out, right? And then she dragged him inside. No, let's say her quirk evolved, because that can happen, I think. I don't know. But let's say her quirk evolved and she just, like, told him to come here. Pretty much, I guess. And then just started floating him. And yeah. Actually, no. Let's say she started... no. Yeah, she did. She started floating him into the house. And then he was laid down on his bed. And Inko was caring for him and treating him. But he wasn't in, like... he wasn't badly injured. He was just... I don't know. He was badly injured, actually. Because he was just struck by lightning for the first time. He's never been struck by lightning, and he's not adapted to it. But, yeah, and then the tree that hit him, like, nearly killed him. Actually, yeah. Let's say the next day... no. A week late... no, that's too long. The next day, he wakes up in the hospital, and yeah, he wakes up in the hospital. He is I don't know. He wakes up in the hospital and he's, like, surprised. He just suddenly, like, his eyes just suddenly shot open, and he's, like, got up, and he was like, what happened? Why am I in the hospital? And then the doctor came in and, like, he's awake. That was sooner than expected. It's because he was, like, it's because, I don't know, he adapted to getting injured, I guess. Because, like, the first few, like, weeks, that his father figure, took him in, he was like training his defense, right? So yeah, he was training his defense just in case like he failed a job like a bank robbery like he did in the future. Anyways, let's just say, yeah, he trained his defense, like, not considerably, but he was used to being, like, in the hospital for, like, days, and so he adapted to that, right? And he developed, a faster regen than normal people, like really fast, but like if he broke his bone, he would only have to be in the hospital for like a day. So like, yeah. And then he would be like fully healed, ready to go. But like if he was like, yeah, never mind. So like that's why he was like, he recovered super quickly because he had like some sort of super regen, I guess. Anyways, so yeah, he gets out of the hospital. First thing he does is go back to school, because why not, right? And then everyone heard that Deku was in the hospital, and they're like, how are you already out? It's only been a day. And they're like, and then he's like, well, it's because, well, I have been in the hospital a lot, and I've developed a regen of some sorts. So, yeah, I can heal any, like, broken bone in, like, a day. So, yeah, that's how, anyways, yeah. He does that, and, yeah. Right, so, they do the hero and villain thing, right? So, Deku is on a team with, who should it be? So, Deku should be on a team with, oh, it should be the guy I created last video. The one with the copy quirk. I'll give him a name. I don't think I gave him a name, but if I did, meh. His new name is Zaid Kenshin. Because, why not? And so, Deku meets him and is like, hi, my name's Deku. It's yours. And he's like, Zaid Kenshin. And Deku's like, that's a nice name. What's your quirk? My quirk's a copy. What's yours? Mine's, the ability to adapt to things. To adapt really quickly. And so, yeah. They will be fighting Katsuki Bakugo and, let's see. It should be Katsuki Bakugo and, I don't want it to be Ida because it's always Ida. Let's say Katsuki Bakugo and Shoko Todoroki. Why not? Anyways, bye guys. See you in the next video.